Nathaniel Greene was a general back in the late 1700s, in which Greensburg was named after. There was a cabin down below where Nathaniel... I think there was a war that happened here. Actually, I think this land was owned by the Masons. And no, I'm not kidding. Because there's a lot of gravestones. A lot of gravestones just everywhere. And they're like, they're all old, and you can kind of see the dates and you kind of can't. But there's actually a gravestone over there, actually the big one. I guess a whole bunch of Masons are buried here or something. I'm not kidding. This monument, erected in 1913 by members of the Masonic fraternity, resident in this vicinity, replaces and is a duplicate of a sandstone monument which was erected in 1832. This description on this panel alone accepted. Now this one right here, this part was erected over the bones of their departed brother by the members of the Masonic Society resident in this vicinity. So it's true. This land was owned by the Masons. Damn it.
We're here at Monroeville Mall, where the original Dawn of the Dead was filmed, the second installment of the Dead series. This was one of the first malls in the area, and when they decided to do Dawn of the Dead, they wanted to put it in a scenario, you know, where they ended up in some sort of shelter, and they picked a mall. They picked good old Monroeville Mall. George Romero is from this area. The first 3 of the Dead installment are all filmed within an hour of here. Still the same light posts from the certain little things when you watch the movie. You can still pick out that are the same. The light poles are still the same, and the parking lot's still cracked and messed up. And behind us, there's a lot of woods, and I think it was the perfect location. A lot of those zombies were coming out here, and this parking lot was once filled with hundreds and hundreds of the undead. And that mall right there is where the infamous, "When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth," spoken just a few hundred yards away from us. If you ask a lot of people, like our age, a lot of their parents were zombies, like just extras in the film. And I think part of my obsession with zombie films and such is being from here, because all the movies were filmed here, in the background, and the culture has always been very engrossed with the horror genre. And about an hour from here, they filmed some RoboCop scenes too, I believe. A lot of the scenes were shot up, down, like shot on the roof, down into the parking lot and into the woods. And it's hard to tell a lot of the structure from the movie because it's different now, but still the same. Actually, I think there's a zombie. Oh, it's Russ. He's just being himself, I think, actually. You're 30 years late, buddy. 26.
Brains.
No, there's nothing in there.
This is my school where I grew up, first through third, and I had straight A's. And we had sometimes when on the bus, we took a bus to the Catholic school, and they dropped us off there, and we had to take another bus to get to this school. On the first day of school, I missed my bus because I thought the Catholic school was my school. So I walked in, there's all these big kids, and you know, they're looking at me, I'm looking at them. I'm like, where do I go? And some little girl says, or some lady teacher says to me, you better go out with the other kids in the front or you're gonna miss your bus.
Russ and I have the distinction of being in our first band together, which was a awful Metallica cover band. And you know, we just, you know, if Metallica ever heard any of the things that we were doing, I'm pretty sure that you know, they would disavow their own songs. Without embarrassing him, you know, from the first second of this comment, I should reveal how Russ and I first met. I had a band. It was actually my first band, way too many years ago to reveal, and our guitar player wanted to do nothing at practice except make out with my niece. So, as the leader of the band, we made the decision to get rid of that guy. So we needed another guitarist that you know, knew his stuff, and our drummer said, "Well, there's this kid that, you know, lives on the same street as me, world famous Bonita Drive in Greensburg." And so I said, all right, let's check this kid out. You know, let's see what it is. So I drove down Bonita Drive with this guy, and we drove past this kid's house. And I guess this kid saw that his friend was in the passenger seat of my car, and decided that it would be a real good idea to let me hit him with the car, and to dive on the hood. And I just kept driving. So the first time that I ever laid eyes on Russ Cogdill, I hit him with my car. And that day he was in the band. So he knew every Metallica song off the first 5 records with all the solos, and didn't know anything else, but that was enough. So he was in.
I guess I met everybody. Originally a friend of mine, Drew. Neither of us either raised or ever being interested in religion. Both of us pretty much had a nervous breakdown at the same time. And my friend Drew, at the time, worked at a pizza shop. And he had a friend, that every day was like, hey, if you ever need help, you should go to this church I go to because, it's, just, he was like, it's a really good place, really positive and everything. And I was at a time where, I was trying to find something because I was feeling very suicidal, and I more or less had a full-blown nervous breakdown. So me and my friend Drew randomly went to this church called Word of Life. Actually, one of the first people I talked to was a guy named Bob Bigelow, and after getting to know him for a while, we started talking about how it would, it'd be fun to start a band or something. And he was like, well, I know this kid named Russ.
Bob Bigelow and Dan Weyandt actually approached me in church, and they asked me if I wanted to join this band that they were starting. I was like, that's cool. I didn't, know, many people at the church, and I didn't really, give it another thought. I mean, that'd be amazing and whatnot. But I was like, yeah, that's cool. He actually was holding an Unashamed CD the first time I'd met him. I was into Unashamed and stuff, and those early Tooth and Nail bands, Focused, and just everything. The whole scene was really, really cool. So that's kind of how we connected, and we started together.
We eventually got together. Myself and Russ, Bob Bigelow at the time was playing drums, and our friend Jason, we got him to sing, and we had a couple really rough practices, and like this kid Bob's basement of his parents' house, and they were gracious enough at the time to let us maybe practice for an hour or two at a time, during the evenings.